Hello. In this video, we'll go over the linear regression t-test to test the significance of the slope and the correlation coefficient. Pause the video and enter this data now. Put X, the homework grades, into list 1, and put Y, the test grades, into list 2. Under Stat, Edit. Restart the video when you're ready. Okay. So under Stat, Edit, I have the X and Y data entered. The purpose of this video is that we're doing a hypothesis test. The null hypothesis is that beta, the population slope, the true slope, as if we didn't just collect data on these students, but a whole population of students, equals 0. And also that rho equals 0. Rho is the population correlation coefficient. So not just the correlation between the sampled students and their homework grades and test grades, but for the whole population of students. So the null hypothesis is that there's no useful slope and there's no significant correlation. The alternative hypothesis is that the slope does not equal 0, that there is some useful slope here that can help us make predictions, and that rho, the correlation, is not equal to 0, but that there's some significant correlation coefficient. So we're going into Stat Tests and run the linear regression t-test. So to the calculator, to Stat, over to Tests, and if you go up from the bottom of the list, you can get to the linear regression t-test much quicker. Linear regression t-test, press Enter. And so our X list is where we put our X data, L1. Our Y list is where we put our Y data, L2. Frequency should just be kept at 1. And then we have a choice. For the alternative hypothesis, I've chosen that beta and rho do not equal 0. You can do a directional test in the greater than or the less than direction, but we'll leave this one at not equals to 0. We'll leave this regression equation blank. I'm not interested in pursuing the graph at this point, and then we'll just go down to calculate. Okay, hit Enter. Okay, here we go. Our test statistic is T, 11.63. Our p-value, look very carefully because there's scientific notation going on here, 0.000007. Is that right? Counting back from 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, because you can see the p-value is listed over here as 7.83 times 10 to the negative 6 power. Okay, so we have a very small p-value with a significance level of 0.05 or even 0.01 or even 0.001. We would certainly be rejecting the null hypothesis, because remember the rule is if the p-value is smaller than the significance level, then we would reject the null hypothesis. So if I reject the null hypothesis in favor of the alternative, I'm saying I have sufficient evidence here that I do have a significant correlation coefficient and that I do have a useful slope. So that is the linear regression t-test in a nutshell. I hope this has been helpful. This concludes this video.